welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to look at web browser automation using Python. Okay, so before beginning I will give you a rough idea what is web browser automation using Python code. Okay, so what happens whenever you want to uh, search something on the Google, for example, what do? You open your web browser. This is your Chrome browser. You type in the URL and search something manually over here. Say hello world. I'm searching for hello world programming C. Hello world, right? So a result comes in, and then yeah. So what do? You manually open your Google Chrome. You open your web browser. For example, I open Google Chrome. Then in Google's webs, in the URL you type Google and then search whatever you want to search and then click on a link, right? So this process of clicking and then searching and then clicking on a link, we can do it through a piece of code automatically, and that's what we are going to look in this video. Okay, so let us, before digging into that, let us first understand some technical working. How does, what happens when you search something, when you type a URL on your Chrome browser, what happens over there? Okay, the background. So suppose you type in www dot Amazon, www.amazon.in. If you search this, a website comes in. So what is happening on the behind? So there is a client is your web browser. Okay, so this is the client computer, client, that is your browser, your web browser, okay, and there is a server, Amazon server, who is having all the web pages, Amazon's website details. This is where Amazon's website detail, Amazon website details are stored on this server computer. This is also a computer only, server computer. Okay. So whenever in your web browser, this is your web browser. I will make it properly. Your web browser. Okay. Browser. This is the client or your web browser. In your Google, you type in URL, you type in www.amazon.com, and then what happens is, but the computer cannot understand English, right? It doesn't understand English. And when in a network, right, all in the internet is nothing but all the computers, they are connected to each other, right, via some intermediate computers. So what happens is you have to make the computer understands what does www.amazon.com means. Okay, so that is known as DNS resolution. Okay, this is known as DNS resolution, or I know in human readable form the address of Amazon.com. Okay, but I want to get through the inside the DNS server. What happens? The human readable web addresses in English are there, mapped with the corresponding address that the computer understands. That is called a IP address. Okay, IP address is the form that the computer understands the address. Okay, the DNS server is having like a mapping, a dictionary mapping, where every English readable address is and its corresponding computer readable IP address is mapped. So it will look into it and give you back the IP address for Amazon.com, and your browser, it will go to the web server of Amazon.com and send it, ask it some request to send this website, these photos, and the web server will respond back with the answers. So this is what is happening, a conversation, communication between your computer, your browser, and the web server of Amazon.com. Okay, so okay, this is the DNS server that is helping you connect between the your browser with the server of Amazon.com. Okay, and a conversation is going on between the client and the server, and that communication or conversation has a rule that is known as HTTP protocol. Okay, HTTP protocol is nothing but the communication rules between client and the server. Okay, it's like a language or the rules that how client, what will be the message from your browser to the server look like, and how to understand the response that server sends to your browser and present it to you. Okay, that is not those rules, so that understanding what the server is sending back to you and what you want from the server is easy and has the same format. Okay, so we will now try to look at what does a HTTP request from your browser looks like. Okay, HTTP request from your computer. Okay, so this first one, I will zoom it a little bit. This part is a standard format of a HTTP request that your browser sends to the server. Okay, so it contains what do you want. It is telling the server what you want to do. Do you want get this? Get is a HTTP method that tells the server that you are requesting the server to send some resource like a website or an image or a file. You want to read or fetch some resource from which is stored on the server. Okay, and you are telling which page, HTML page, you want to the server to send back to you, and what is the communication protocol. HTTP black forward slash 1.1 means the communication protocol, the rules of communication through which you are sending. And it is telling next is the host, the additional information. It might be the case that the web server, it contains the web pages for multiple websites. Now exactly which website has this HTML page? Okay, this is the uh, example.com, or for our case we searched Amazon.com. So Amazon.com slash index.html page, I want to uh, I want the server to send me back. Then the user agent, it is telling about the web browsers details, what languages it supports, what are its operating system and all. And then uh, uh, what type of information is the browser, what type of response you are accepting. That means you accepting a text or HTML page, application or HTML page, or an image, or what type of response is accepted by you are expecting from the server. Okay, what language you are what language of response is accepted by you, and what encoding the response should can have. And after one request, do you want to keep the connection between your browser and the server alive or not for further communication? Okay, this is a HTTP request that your computer sends to the web server that has the details of Amazon.com's website. Okay, So next is, and this get request will be used in the code. This get request method means you are telling the server that you want to read or get back a website or a image or any resource that it stores. Okay, and if you want to tell the website, the web server, that you want to send some data like through a web form, registration form, or through through a registration form, you want to send some data to that server, and you want that server to store this data in its database, then you use another method that is known as the post method. Okay, in place of this get, this post, if it is written, then the server will understand you are sending some data for it to store in its database. Okay, maybe through a submitting a Google form or something. Okay. Okay, next that we need to understand is an HTTP response. Okay, yes, okay. This is a HTTP response. In a communication, after you send some request to the Amazon's web server, the Amazon's web server will send you back a response, right? It will first tell you what communication rule it is following, okay, and then tell you the request that you sent to the server, was it processed successfully or not. 200 is the status, okay, means that it was successful and it is sending you back the resource that you requested for. Then it will tell some additional information about the response, when it sent you the response, what is the server details, software the server is using, what type of content it is sending you back, okay, the content's length, and the after sending this response, what to do with the communication link. Okay, do you want to end the connection or you want to keep the connection alive? Okay, next is, this is the message body, the response body. So like in an envelope, you have the details of what our contents are inside this envelope. Similarly, this is the above section of this response is the details, information of what content this response is having, and this is the actual content inside the message body of the website it has returned. Okay, this is the HTML or the skeleton of the website is it is returning as a response. Okay, so this much only on this in this part of the video. In the second part, we will discuss about the web browser automation library of Python. Okay, bye bye and take care.